The harbor town wakes to December rain. Water sheets down wooden storefronts, turns cobblestone streets into rivers, drums against tin roofs with relentless rhythm. Harbor's End clings to Washington's northern coast like a barnacle, stubborn, weathered, forgotten by anyone who matters. Isla Brennan pulls herself upright in the narrow bed above the apothecary. Her body protests every movement now. 9 months of carrying weight that shouldn't exist, of hiding what can't stay hidden much longer. Her hands move to her stomach automatically the way they have 1,000 times since she fled into the night with blood on her feet and shame burning through every nerve. The belly beneath her worn nightgown is impossible, round and heavy and undeniable, too large for one pup. She's known that for weeks but hasn't let herself think about what it means. Rain hammers the single window. Wind rattles the shutters. Somewhere in the distance, a foghorn calls across gray water. Isla closes her eyes and counts heartbeats. Her own, then the others. The ones that shouldn't be there. The ones that prove she survived something that should have killed her. 10 months ago, she was someone else entirely. 10 months ago, she wore silk and slept in feather beds and believed the man who whispered promises against her throat in the dark. 10 months ago, she was stupid. Footsteps creak on the stairs. A soft knock precedes Margot's weathered face appearing in the doorway. The older woman carries a tray with tea and bread, her expression equal parts concern and careful neutrality. She's gotten good at that look over the past 9 months, not asking questions that might shatter the fragile peace they've built. "Morning, dear. How are you feeling?" Isla shifts her weight, trying to find a position that doesn't make her back scream. Tired, heavy, the usual. Margot sets the tray on the small table beside the bed. Her eyes linger on Isla's stomach with the practiced assessment of someone who's seen plenty of pregnancies. Too many, probably. Harbor's End is the kind of place where women come to disappear. Opal's downstairs preparing scent blockers. Fresh batch. Should last you another week. Another week. Isla's throat tightens. A week ago, she thought she had time. Now every day feels like borrowed moments slipping through her fingers. "Thank you. For everything. I don't know what I would have." "Hush now." Margot's hand rests briefly on Isla's shoulder. "We look after our own here. You eat. Rest. The storm's getting worse." After Margot leaves, Isla forces herself to eat the bread even though her stomach churns. The babies her mind corrects traitorously need the nutrition. She needs her strength. Because running is all she knows now, and running requires fuel. She dresses slowly, layers of wool and cotton meant to disguise her shape, though nothing really works anymore. Her wolf stirs restlessly beneath her skin, anxious in ways that make her chest tight. The scent blockers help, but they're not perfect. Any wolf who got too close would smell what she is, what she's carrying, what she's hiding. The memory hits without warning. It always does. No matter how hard she tries to lock it away, it finds her in quiet moments. Darius Thornwell standing in the throne hall of Frost Peak Citadel. February morning week sunlight through stained glass windows. The entire court assembled. Alphas in formal dress, advisors with their calculating eyes, servants pressed against marble pillars, hungry for scandal, and her, standing in the center of it all, still feeling the phantom warmth of his hands on her skin from the night before. "This Omega is unsuitable as Luna." His voice echoed off stone walls, cold, formal, final, like she was a contract being terminated instead of a person whose heart was shattering in real time. "For the good of the kingdom, I will bind myself to Vivian Ashford of the Valewood Territories." She'd watched his face, waited for him to look at her, to show some flicker of the man who'd held her 6 hours earlier, who traced patterns on her hip and whispered that he wanted this, wanted her, wanted everything he couldn't have. He never looked. Not once. Not even when she fled the hall with her wolf screaming inside her chest. Isla's hands shake as she braids her hair. The memory tastes like copper and ash. Some wounds don't heal. They just learn to bleed quietly. Downstairs, the apothecary smells like dried herbs and beeswax and the particular mustiness of old buildings near the sea. Opal works at the counter grinding something in a mortar with steady practiced movements. She's older than Margot by a decade sharper in all the ways that matter. "There you are, girl. Come here. I need to check your scent profile." Isla crosses to the counter. Opal takes her wrist, pressing 2 fingers to her pulse point. Her nostrils flare slightly. Her expression shifts from neutral to concerned. The blockers are failing faster than they should. How far along did you say you were? 36 weeks, maybe 37 now. I've lost track. Opal's eyes narrow. That's not possible. You're too large for 36 weeks. Unless she stops, releases Isla's wrist. When was the last time a healer examined you properly? Isla's stomach drops. Not since I left Frost Peak. That's 9 months of no proper care. Opal's voice sharpens with disapproval. Sit down. I'm sending for Dr. Bryn. I can't afford... You can't afford not to. Something's not right here, and I won't have you delivering in my shop without knowing what we're dealing with. Bryn Hale arrives within the hour. She's the closest thing Harbor's End has to a proper midwife, human competent and blessedly incurious about the occasional wolf who passes through. She's delivered enough babies in this town to know when not to ask questions. She takes one look at Isla and her professional mask cracks slightly. How long have you been this size? I don't know. It happened gradually. Dr. Bryn guides Isla to the back room, helps her onto the examination table with gentle efficiency. Her hands press carefully against Isla's stomach, measuring, assessing. Her expression grows more confused with each passing moment. I need you to lie very still. Don't move. Isla obeys. Her heart hammers against her ribs. Something in Dr. Bryn's voice has shifted from concern to something deeper. Something that tastes like shock. Dr. Bryn's hands move across her stomach again. Lower, higher, to the sides. She presses her ear against Isla's belly, listening with the intense focus of someone searching for something specific. The silence stretches. Rain drums on the roof. Somewhere outside, a gull cries. Finally, Dr. Bryn lifts her head. Her face has gone pale. Isla, when you said one pup, are you certain? Yes. Why wouldn't it be? Dr. Bryn's hands return to her stomach. This time, Isla feels what she's doing. Feeling for position, for sorrows, for the specific rhythm of "oh gods." The words escape Isla before she can stop them, because she feels it now. 3 distinct patterns of movement beneath Dr. Bryn's palms. 3 separate heartbeats pulsing against her own. There are 3 heartbeats, Isla. Dr. Bryn's voice is steady, but her eyes are wide. You're not carrying one pup. You're carrying triplets. The world tilts. Isla's vision swims. Her wolf surges inside her chest with something between terror and fierce protective joy. That's not possible. I can feel them. 3 distinct patterns. 3 separate movements. You're carrying triplets. Isla's hands fly to her stomach, and there it is. Undeniable now that she knows what she's feeling. 3 pulses, 3 tiny lives. 3 futures curled inside her body. The memory slams into her with brutal clarity. Darius's hands on her hips, his mouth against her ear, his voice rough with need and something deeper. I want this. I want you. His body moving with hers, his fingers threading through her hair. The way he looked at her afterward like she was air and he was drowning. And now, Olga, 3. I need you to breathe, Isla. Dr. Bryn's voice cuts through the spiraling panic. You're hyperventilating. Look at me. Breathe. Isla gasps. Her chest heaves. Tears burn hot down her face. I can't. This can't be. I thought one was already. How am I supposed to... The door to the back room opens. A woman stands in the doorway. Isla's seen her around town, Ember Lockwood. Mid-30s, storm gray eyes, movements that hint at something other than human or wolf. She runs a small shop near the docks that sells candles and crystals and other things people whisper about. I felt it. Ember's voice is quiet. The shift. May I? Dr. Bryn looks at Isla. Isla, too overwhelmed to object, nods. Ember approaches slowly. Her hand hovers over Isla's stomach without touching. Her eyes close. When she speaks again, her voice carries weight that makes the air feel heavier. Storm-touched Omega bearing triple heirs. It hasn't happened in 200 years. What does that mean? Isla's voice cracks. Ember opens her eyes. The last time an Omega carried triplets for an AlphaKing, it sparked a civil war. 3 heirs, 3 claims to power, 3 potential alphas fighting for one throne. The kingdom tore itself apart before the pups were even weaned. Ice floods Isla's veins. These are just babies. They're never good babies, not when you're carrying the future of the Thornwell bloodline inside you. Ember's expression is sympathetic but unflinching. The moment word gets out, and it will get out, you become the most valuable and most dangerous person in this region. I don't understand. Allies will want to protect you to secure their claim to those pups. Enemies will want to kill you to prevent anyone else from having them. And Darius Thornwell, Ember pauses. He rejected you publicly, announced his engagement to another alpha. What do you think he'll do when he finds out you survived and you're carrying 3 of his heirs? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Isla's mind races. 9 months of hiding, 9 months of staying invisible, 9 months of building a fragile safety that's about to shatter completely. There are prophecies, Ember continues quietly, about storm-touched omegas, about bloodlines that carry triple heirs, about children born to rejected mates during celestial alignments. Old stories that most dismiss as myth. Prophecies aren't real, aren't they? Ember's smile is sad. You felt 3 heartbeats when there should be 1. You survived a rejection that should have killed you. You're hiding in a harbor town during the worst storm season in 50 years. Tell me fate isn't watching. A howl cuts through the afternoon. Close. Too close. The sound of it makes Isla's wolf bare its teeth inside her chest. Dr. Bryn moves to the window. That's not local. That's pack communication. Another howl answers the first. Then a third. Coordinated. Deliberate. The language of hunters closing in. Margot bursts into the room. There are strangers at the docks. Big men. Wolf eyes asking questions about a pregnant woman living alone. Isla's blood turns cold. How many 4 that I saw? Could be more. Ember's expression darkens. They found you. The question is who sent them. I need to leave. Isla pushes herself off the examination table. Her body protests heavy and unwieldy. Right now, I need to. You can't travel in your condition, Debrin says firmly. Not with triplets, not at 36 weeks. 1 hard run could trigger early labor. Then what do I do? Wait here to be captured. Silence. Because none of them have a good answer. The truth is brutal and simple. Isla is trapped. Her body won't let her run fast enough or far enough anymore. The scent blockers are failing. The triplets make her too valuable to ignore and too dangerous to let live. You could reveal yourself publicly, Ember says slowly. Make it known who you are and what you're carrying. That's suicide, Margot snaps. Or it's insurance. Right now, she's a secret. Secrets can disappear without consequences. But if the entire region knows the AlphaKing's rejected mate is carrying triplets, killing her becomes politically complicated. Isla's mind spins. Reveal herself. Stand in front of whatever remains of Darius's court and say, I'm alive. I'm pregnant. These children are his. The thought terrifies her. But maybe Ember is right. Maybe staying hidden only works until it doesn't. Thunder crashes overhead. The building shakes. Somewhere outside, wood splinters. Opal appears in the doorway, face pale. They're coming. 3 wolves. They just killed Rosalind's dog. When it barked at them. Isla's hands move protectively to her stomach. The triplets shift beneath her palms. Restless. Anxious. Like they can feel her fear. There might be one other option. Isla's voice sounds steadier than she feels. I sent a message 3 days ago, through a scout passing through Harbor's End. Everyone turns to stare at her and, what kind of message? Dort Bryn asked carefully. Isla's throat tightens. I told him to tell the AlphaKing about the pups that they're his. The room goes very still. You contacted Darius Thornwell, Margot's voice rises. After everything he did to you. I was desperate, sick, scared. I thought, Isla's voice cracks. I thought he should know his children exist, even if he doesn't care, even if he never comes. They deserve to know their father knew about them. Oh, child. Margot's expression is torn between sympathy and horror. You have no idea what you've just done. What do you mean? Ember's face has gone grave. Messages don't travel in straight lines. If you told a scout others heard, tavern owners, dock workers, people who sell information to the highest bidder, the implication crashes over Isla like a wave. Her message didn't just reach Darius, it leaked, it spread. It turned her from an invisible refugee into a target with a bounty. The front door of the apothecary explodes inward. Wood splinters, glass shatters. A massive wolf fills the doorway, its eyes glowing amber in the dim light. Behind it, two more wolves prowl into view, their movements coordinated and predatory. Isla's wolf surges inside her, desperate to fight, but her pregnant body is too slow, too heavy, too vulnerable. Margot and Opal scramble backward. Dr. Bryn grabs a knife from the counter, useless against werewolves, but brave regardless. Ember steps forward, her hands beginning to glow with something that isn't quite natural. The lead wolf shifts. A man stands there now, tall, scarred, dangerous. His eyes sweep the room before landing on Isla with predatory focus. There you are, the little Omega who's been causing so much trouble. Isla recognizes him from court descriptions. Slade, one of Cade Reaver's enforcers. Brutal, efficient, utterly without mercy. What do you want? Her voice comes out steadier than she feels. You, live preferably. But my employer isn't too picky. The smile is all teeth. You can come quietly or we can make this difficult. Your choice. Who hired you? Does it matter? You've been useful dead or alive to more people than you can count. But those pups you're carrying, he takes a step closer. They're worth a fortune to the right buyer. Rage floods through Isla, hot, fierce, protective. Touch me and what? He laughs. You'll fight. You can barely stand. He's right. And she hates it. But before he can move closer, Ember's hands flash out. Light explodes through the room. Blinding, disorienting. The wolves yelp and stagger back. Run! Ember shouts. Margot grabs Isla's arm, pulling her toward the back door. They stumble through the narrow hallway out into the alley. Rain immediately drenches them. Thunder crashes overhead like the sky is breaking apart. Where do we go? Margot gasps. Isla's mind spins. The harbor is too exposed. The roads are patrolled. The forest, another wolf appears at the alley entrance, cutting off their escape. They're surrounded. Isla's heart hammers against her ribs. The triplets shift anxiously inside her, sensing her fear. Her wolf is snarling, desperate to protect them, even though fighting is impossible. This is it. This is how it ends. 10 months of running, 10 months of surviving, all for nothing. Then a new howl splits the night, different from the others, deeper, more commanding. The sound of an alpha calling his pack to battle. The wolves surrounding them freeze, ears pricking. Recognition and fear flash across their faces. A massive black wolf crashes into the alley, moving with lethal speed and precision. It hits Slade's wolf form with the force of a battering ram, sending both creatures tumbling across rain-slicked cobblestones. More wolves pour into the alley, these ones moving with military coordination, fighting with focused ferocity. And then the black wolf shifts. Darius Thornwell stands in the rain, chest heaving, eyes glowing gold, completely and utterly focused on one thing. Her. Isla. Her name on his lips sounds like prayer and curse combined. She can't move, can't speak, can only stare at him, soaked, furious, desperate, as 10 months of pain and longing and betrayal crash over her all at once. Don't. The word tears out of her throat. Don't touch me. But he's already moving, crossing the space between them in 3 strides. His hands reach for her shoulders, and she feels it, the pandinin she thought was severed, damaged but undeniable, flaring to life at his touch. Every nerve in her body screams, recognition, rejection, need, fury. The bond pulses between them like a live wire, raw and bleeding, and somehow still connected. I'm not losing you again. His voice is wrecked, raw. I'm not losing any of you. Behind him, the battle rages. His wolves she recognizes Callum, his beta, and others from court fight Slade's mercenaries with brutal efficiency. Rain falls like tears. Thunder drowns out the sounds of combat. Isla's hands press against Darius's chest, pushing him away even as her wolf whines to get closer. You lost me 10 months ago, when you stood in front of everyone and called me unsuitable. I know. When you announced your engagement the morning after you... Her voice breaks. She won't finish that sentence. Won't give him the satisfaction of knowing how deeply he carved into her. I know. His hands tighten on her shoulders, not restraining, anchoring, like he's afraid she'll disappear if he lets go. Isla, please. Let me explain. Let me... A sharp pain lances through her stomach. Isla gasps, doubling over. Her hands fly to her belly. Darius's face goes white. What's wrong, so? Nothing, just pressure. It's fine. That doesn't look fine. I said it's fine. Her voice sharpens, defensive. Years of surviving alone make her prickly about accepting help, especially from him. Dr. Bryn pushes through the chaos, medical bag in hand. She came with his team. Isla realizes with a shock that this rescue was planned, coordinated. Darius didn't stumble across her. He came looking. Isla, I need to examine you. That pain can wait. Isla straightens as much as her body allows. We need to get out of here first. Callum appears at Darius's shoulder, blood on his jaw. Sire, more are coming. We need to move. Now. Darius doesn't look away from Isla. Can you walk? I've been walking for 10 months. I'll manage. Something flashes across his face. Pain, regret, the weight of her words hitting their mark. But he doesn't argue, just nods and gestures to his team. Lighthouse, 3 miles north. We fortify there. They move through back alleys and side streets. Isla's body protests every step, but she forces herself forward. She won't be carried, won't be helpless. Not in front of him, not after everything. The abandoned lighthouse sits on a rocky outcrop, half swallowed by fog. Its beam hasn't turned in decades, but the structure is solid, defensible. Callum's team sweeps it quickly, securing the perimeter, while Darius guides Isla inside. The main room smells like salt and old wood and desperation. Someone lights a fire in the ancient hearth. Isla sinks into a chair near the warmth, exhausted beyond measure. Darius kneels in front of her, close but not touching. His eyes, those golden eyes she used to trust, search her face with desperate intensity. Isla, please, let me see. Let me know they're okay. She wants to say no, wants to push him away, wants to protect herself from the inevitable heartbreak of letting him close again. But the triplets shift inside her, and she's reminded that this isn't just about her anymore. Fine, but don't talk. His hands hover over her stomach, asking permission without words. She nods once, sharp and reluctant. When his palms press flat against the swell of her belly, the bond between them surges. Stronger than it's been in 10 months. Bleeding but not broken. Damaged but desperately trying to reconnect. 3 distinct kicks answer his touch. Darius's breath catches. His eyes squeeze shut. Tears track down his face, mingling with rain and blood. 3, he whispers. Oh, gods. 3. Yes. How long have you known? Since this morning. Her voice is flat, empty. I thought it was 1. I didn't have access to healers. I've been surviving alone. Because of you. The accusation lands like a physical blow. Darius's hands remain on her stomach, trembling slightly. I'm sorry. The words sound hollow even to her ears. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to make it right. But I swear to you, Isla, I will spend the rest of my life trying. Why should I believe you? Because I can't breathe without you. The confession rips out of him, raw, honest, devastating. Because I haven't slept since you left. Because every day for 10 months I've felt like I'm missing half my soul. Because you were my mate and I rejected you, and it's killing me. Isla's breath hitches. You chose the alliance. I was wrong. You called me unsuitable. I was a coward. Her voice breaks completely. You made me feel disposable. Darius's forehead drops to rest against her stomach. One of the pups shifts beneath his touch, and he makes a sound like breaking. You are anything but disposable. You are everything. And I destroyed us because I thought duty mattered more than love. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Outside, thunder shakes the lighthouse. Inside, Ela stares at this man who shattered her and is now kneeling at her feet, begging for scraps of forgiveness she doesn't know how to give. I hate you, she whispers. I know. I wanted to die when you rejected me. I know. I still feel the bond. It won't let go. And I hate that too. I know. His hands tighten slightly, holding on like she might disappear. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They stay like that as rain hammers the lighthouse and wind screams through broken shutters. Darius kneeling, Isla crying. Three heartbeats connecting them in ways words can't touch. Finally, Isla's hands move to his hair, fingers threading through wet strands. The touch is tentative, almost involuntary. Like her body remembers him, even if her heart doesn't trust him. I don't know if I can forgive you. I'm not asking you to, not yet. He lifts his head, meeting her eyes. I'm just asking you to let me protect you, you and them. That's all. No expectations, no demands, just safety. And after we figure out what comes next, together. Isla's laugh is watery, bitter. You make it sound simple. It won't be simple. It'll be messy and complicated and probably painful. His thumb traces a gentle circle on her stomach. But they deserve better than what we've given them so far. Don't they? Three kicks answer him in unison, fierce and strong and undeniable. Isla's chest aches because he's right. These three didn't ask to be caught in this mess, didn't ask for parents who broke each other, but they're coming regardless. And they deserve more than her bitterness and his guilt. Okay, she finally whispers, but if you hurt me again, you'll take them and disappear. I know, and I'll never give you reason. It's not forgiveness, not even close, but it's a start, a fragile, terrifying possibility of something beyond survival. Dr. Bryn appears with blankets and warm tea. Callum reports the perimeter secure. The fire crackles, rain drums endlessly on. And inside Isla, three tiny lives pulse strong and steady. The future neither she nor Darius planned. The bridge between broken and healing. She closes her eyes and lets exhaustion pull her under. Tomorrow will bring new problems, new dangers. But tonight, for the first time in 10 months, she's not alone. Tonight, the AlphaKing, who destroyed her guards, her sleep like his life depends on it. Because it does. Dawn breaks gray and cold over the lighthouse. Isla wakes to the smell of wood smoke and salt air, and something else, the distinct scent of alpha male, too close for comfort. Her eyes snap open. Darius sits against the far wall, watching her with eyes that haven't seen sleep. How long have you been staring at me? All night. No shame in his voice. No apology. Just raw honesty. I kept thinking if I looked away, you'd disappear again. Isla pushes herself upright. Every muscle aches. The triplets shift inside her, waking with her, their movements stronger than yesterday. More insistent, like they're running out of room and starting to protest. That's not creepy at all. I couldn't sleep. Darius stands, moving carefully, keeping distance between them. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw you running through the forest. Blood on your feet, terror in your eyes, and I did that to you. Yes, you did. The words hang between them, sharp, unforgiving. Isla's not ready to soften them yet. Maybe she never will be. Dr. Bryn enters carrying a basin of warm water and clean cloths. Her expression is professionally neutral, but her eyes miss nothing. The way Darius tracks Isla's every movement. The way Isla's body angles slightly away from him, even sitting down. I need to examine you properly this morning. That pain of last night concerns me. Isla nods, lets Dr. Bryn help her to the examination area Callum's team set up in the corner. Clean linens, medical supplies. Someone thought ahead. Someone planned this rescue down to the smallest detail. As Dr. Bryn works checking vitals and position and all the clinical details that matter when you're carrying 3 lives at 36 weeks, Isla watches Darius through the makeshift privacy screen. He paces, runs his hands through his hair, looks towards her every 30 seconds like he's confirming she's still real. Heartbeats are strong, Dr. Bryn murmurs. All 3. But Isla, you're measuring at nearly 40 weeks. Triplets typically come early. Your body is under an incredible strain. Can I travel? I wouldn't recommend it. Not far, not fast. Dr. Bryn's voice drops lower. You need a proper medical facility, healers, resources. If you go into labor out here, I know the risks. Do you? Because triplets at this gestation can have complications. Cord entanglement, placental insufficiency, hemorrhage. You could die, Isla. All 3 of them could die. The words hit like stones. Isla's hands move protectively to her stomach. Then what do you suggest? Go to Frost Peak. Let them provide proper care. Go back to the place that destroyed me. Back to the court that watched him reject me and did nothing. Isla's voice hardens. You're asking me to walk back into my nightmare. I'm asking you to prioritize your children's survival over your pride. The brutal honesty stings. But Dr. Bryn is right. Isla knows it. Has known it since the moment she felt 3 heartbeats instead of 1. This stopped being about her the second those lives became real. She emerges from behind the screen. Darius stops pacing immediately, his entire body tensing like he's preparing for a blow. I need guarantees, Isla says. Her voice is steady, cold, the voice of someone who's learned to survive by making hard calculations. Not promises, actual guarantees. Name them. The triplets are recognized as legitimate heirs. No questions, no contests, no whispers about their Omega mother being unsuitable. Done. I have control over their upbringing. No political marriages arranged while they're still in diapers. No forcing them into alliances before they can walk. Agreed. And her voice wavers. I need space. Time. I can't just forgive you because it's convenient. I can't pretend 10 months didn't happen. Darius's jaw works. His hands clench at his sides, but his voice stays level. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to let me earn the chance to try. How do I know you won't change your mind again? How do I know the moment it becomes politically inconvenient, you won't? You don't. The interruption is gentle but firm. Not for certain, but I can tell you this. I felt what it was like to live without you. I felt the bond tearing itself apart because I tried to sever what couldn't be severed. And I would rather die than feel that again. That's dramatic. It's true. Isla studies his face. This man who broke her is offering everything she demanded and more. But words are cheap, actions matter. And she's learned the hard way that promises whispered in the dark mean nothing in daylight. We leave for Frost Peak today, she says finally, but I travel in my own carriage, separate quarters when we arrive. And Darius, she meets his eyes fully for the first time since he found her. If you hurt me again, I will take these children and disappear so thoroughly you will never find us. Do you understand? I understand. Callum appears in the doorway. Lara, we have a problem. Scouts report movement on the northern road. At least 15 wolves. Coordinated patrol patterns. Someone knows we're here. Darius's expression hardens instantly. The grieving mate vanishes, replaced by the tactical alpha who commands armies, whose pack sigils match Reaver territory, but the formation, it's not a hunting party. It's a retrieval team. Cade Reaver. Darius spits the name like poison. He wouldn't move this openly unless someone gave him reason to think he had a claim. Isla's blood turns cold. What kind of claim? Callum's eyes flick to her stomach. The kind that makes 3 unborn heirs worth starting a war over. The implication sinks in slowly, horrifyingly. Her message didn't just reach Darius. It reached every rival alpha with ambitions. Every power-hungry leader who sees 3 heirs as 3 opportunities. 3 potential tools. 3 ways to destabilize Darius's rule. We need to move now, Darius says, before they close the perimeter. The journey to Frost Peak takes 3 days that feel like 3 years. Isla rides in a reinforced carriage with Dr. Brennan and Margot, who insisted on coming despite the danger. The older woman's presence is surprisingly comforting, a reminder that not everyone in Isla's life has betrayed her. Darius rides outside, close enough to respond to threats, far enough to give her the space she demanded. She watches him through the carriage window sometimes, sees how his shoulders never fully relax, how his head turns at every sound, how his wolf prowls just beneath his skin, hyper-vigilant and barely controlled. The bond between them pulses constantly now. Not comfortable, not welcome, but undeniable. She feels his exhaustion, his fear, his desperate determination to protect what he almost lost. She hates that she feels it, hates that part of her responds to it, hates that her wolf whines to be closer to him while her human side wants to claw his eyes out. On the second night, they camp in a clearing near a frozen stream. Isla refuses to stay in the same tent as Darius, but she lets him bring her dinner. Roasted venison, fresh bread, herbs she recognizes from Margot's apothecary. He sets the plate down carefully, starts to leave, stops. May I? His hand gestures toward her stomach. Every instinct screams to say no, to protect herself, to maintain the walls she's built. But the triplets have been restless all day, and she's exhausted, and maybe, just maybe, they need to feel their father's presence too. 5 minutes. Darius kneels beside her chair like he did in the lighthouse. His hands hover, waiting for permission. She nods once. When his palms press flat against her belly, all three babies respond immediately, like they recognize him. Like some part of them knows this is the other half of what created them. They're so active, Darius murmurs, wonder in his voice. They never stop moving, especially at night when I'm trying to sleep. Do you know? He stops, starts again. Have you thought about names? The question catches her off guard. Names feel permanent, real, like accepting these children will be born and live and need identities. Not really. I kept thinking I'd deal with that after. After they were born, after I knew they'd survive. They'll survive. Darius's voice is fierce, certain. All three. I'll make sure of it. You can't control everything. Watch me. Something in his tone makes her look at him more closely. His face is haggard, lines around his eyes that weren't there 10 months ago. Gray threaded through his hair at the temples. The rejection didn't just hurt her, it's been killing him too. Why did you do it? The question escapes before she can stop it. That night, you held me like I mattered, and then you called me unsuitable 12 hours later. Why? Darius's hand still on her stomach. His jaw works. Finally, he speaks. Elder Corvin came to my chambers at dawn, before you woke, told me the council had convened an emergency session, that Vivian's father was threatening to collapse the trade treaties if I didn't honor the marriage arrangement, that 3 smaller packs were ready to declare independence, that thousands would die in the resulting conflict. So you chose them over me. I chose wrong. His voice cracks. I thought I could sacrifice us to save them. That duty mattered more than... He stops, swallows hard. I thought I could live with losing you, that the bond would sever and I'd heal and everything would be fine. But it didn't. No, it bled every day, every hour. My wolf went slowly feral. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't sense threats the way I used to. The bond wouldn't let me forget you. And I realized too late that I'd destroyed the only thing holding me together. Isla's chest aches because she feels the truth of it through the bond, his wolf's instability, the way his control frays at the edges. He's not lying. He's been dying slowly for 10 months while she's been surviving. It doesn't fix anything, but it makes the anger slightly less sharp, slightly more complicated. You should have told me that morning. You should have explained instead of, I know I was a coward, afraid if I looked at you, I'd break, afraid if you asked me to choose you, I would. And I thought, his voice drops to barely a whisper, I thought if I made it brutal enough, you'd hate me, and hating me would make it easier for you to leave. It didn't make it easier, it just made it hurt more. I know, I'm sorry. The words hang between them, insufficient, inadequate. But maybe words always are when you're trying to explain how you broke someone's heart while your own was shattering. One of the triplets kicks hard against Darius's palm. He makes a sound between a laugh and a sob. They're strong. They have to be. Their father is an idiot, and their mother is extraordinary. Isla wants to deflect the compliment, but she's too tired, too worn down by pain and pregnancy and the sheer exhaustion of staying angry every waking moment. I'm not extraordinary. I'm just surviving. That's what makes you extraordinary. Before she can respond, shouting erupts from the perimeter. Callum's voice rings out sharp and commanding. Darius is on his feet instantly, wolf rising to the surface. Stay here, don't leave the tent. He's gone before she can argue. Isla pushes herself up, with effort moving to the tent entrance. Outside, chaos. Wolves emerging from the forest. Not Darius's pack. These ones move with different coordination, different purpose. And at their head, a massive gray wolf she recognizes from court descriptions. Cade Reaver himself. The wolves clash in brutal combat, tooth and claw and savage efficiency. Isla's wolf snarls inside her chest, desperate to fight, to protect. But her pregnant body is useless in battle. All she can do is watch. Darius fights like something possessed, feral, brutal. Every move calculated to kill rather than injure. She's never seen him like this. At court, he was controlled, measured. This version of him is raw violence barely leashed by intelligence. He takes down 3 attackers. 4. Callum fights at his back. The rest of his team moves in perfect synchronization. They're outnumbered but better trained. Deadlier. But numbers matter. One of Reaver's wolves breaks through the line, heads straight for Isla's tent. She doesn't think, just reacts. Shifts faster than she has in months. Her pregnant wolf form is ungainly off balance, but still has teeth, still has claws, still has a mother's rage. She meets the attacker head on, goes for the throat, misses, gets slammed into the ground hard enough to see stars. The wolf's jaws close around her shoulder. Then Darius is there, ripping the attacker off her with strength that shouldn't be possible, tearing out its throat in one savage motion. Blood sprays hot across snow. He shifts back to human, falling to his knees beside her wolf form. His hands shake as they move over her, checking for injuries. Isla, look at me. Are you hurt? Did he? She shifts back, gasps at the pain in her shoulder. But it's superficial, bruising, not tearing. The triplets. Her hands fly to her stomach. 3 distinct patterns of movement answer. Agitated, frightened, but alive. I'm okay. They're okay. Darius makes a sound like breaking, pulls her against his chest despite the blood and mud and chaos around them. She should push him away, should maintain distance. But her body is shaking and her wolf is terrified, and for just this moment, she lets herself be held. You could have died, he says into her hair. You could have, but I didn't. We're fine. You're pregnant with triplets and you just fought a full-grown alpha wolf. That's not fine. I was protecting our children. The words slip out before she thinks them through. Our children. Not my children. Ours. The admission shifts something between them, small but significant. Darius pulls back enough to look at her. His eyes are molten gold. Wild. Barely human. We need to get to Frost Peak. Tonight. No more camping. No more waiting. Every hour we're exposed is another chance for... I agree. He blinks, surprised by her capitulation. We can't keep doing this, Isla continues. Her voice is shaking but determined. Running, fighting, hoping they stay safe while we're vulnerable. They need proper protection, proper care, and she swallows hard. I can't do this alone anymore. You're not alone, not anymore. It's not forgiveness, not reconciliation, but it's acceptance of reality. Acceptance that these 3 lives growing inside her need more than her pride and his guilt can provide. They ride through the night, Isla in the carriage trying to sleep, but too wired on adrenaline. Darius outside pushing the pace until the horses foam and his wolves struggle to keep up. By dawn, Frost Peak Citadel appears on the horizon, massive, imposing. Every stone tower a reminder of the last time Isla walked through those gates and had her heart carved out in public. Her hands shake. The triplets kick in anxious patterns. Her wolf whines deep in her chest. Dr. Bryn squeezes her hand. You're not the same woman who left here. Remember that. I'm the woman he rejected. You're the woman who survived, who carried 3 heirs through impossible circumstances, who fought an alpha wolf at 36 weeks pregnant and won. Bryn's voice is fierce. You're not helpless anymore. You're dangerous. The words settle into Isla's bones, straighten her spine. Because it's true. She's not the broken Omega who fled into the forest 10 months ago. She's been tempered by survival, by solitude, by the absolute necessity of staying alive for 3 lives depending on her. When the carriage stops in the Citadel courtyard, Isla emerges on her own. No help, no assistance. She stands in front of the assembled guards and servants and courtiers with her chin high and her hands on her swollen belly. Let them look. Let them whisper. She survived their judgment once. She'll survive it again. Darius appears at her side, not touching, not guiding, just present, a silent statement that she's under his protection, whether she wants it or not. Medical wing first, he says quietly. Get you and the triplets checked properly. Then I want to see her. He knows immediately who she means. Isla, that's not. I want to see Vivian Ashford, the woman you were going to marry instead of me. I want to look her in the eye. Something flashes across Darius's face. Warning, worry, but also understanding. Because some confrontations can't be avoided. Some wounds need to be opened before they can heal. After you are checked, after you rest. Now. Isla, I spent 10 months running from this place. I'm not running anymore. I'm not hiding. I'm not pretending to be smaller than I am so other people feel comfortable. Her voice rises, carries across the courtyard. I want to see her. Now. The courtyard falls silent. Everyone's staring, waiting, watching the rejected Omega make demands of the AlphaKing who destroyed her. Darius holds her gaze for a long moment, then nods once. Bring Vivian Ashford to the throne hall. Immediately. The throne hall looks exactly as Isla remembers. Marble pillars, stained glass windows, the massive throne carved from ancient oak, the same space where Darius called her unsuitable and shattered her world. But she's different now. Pregnant, scarred, dangerous. Vivian enters through the side doors. She's beautiful in the way ice sculptures are beautiful. Perfect, cold, untouchable. Her dark hair swept into elaborate braids. Her gown the color of winter frost. She moves with calculated grace until she sees Isla. Then her mask cracks, just slightly. Shock, calculation, fear. So the Omega returns. Vivian's voice is smooth, controlled. How convenient. Convenient, Isla takes a step forward. Her hands rest on her stomach, protective and proud. You think I asked for this? You think I wanted to spend 10 months hiding like a criminal? I think you're remarkably well-timed. Pregnant with triplets. Perfect leverage. Leverage. The word tastes like poison. Is that what you think this is? What else would it be? Vivian's eyes are hard. You disappeared. Everyone assumed you were dead. And now you reappear carrying 3 heirs right when what? Right when you were about to become Luna. Isla's voice sharpens. Tell me, Vivian, did you send them? Send who? The mercenaries. The wolves who attacked me in Harbor's End. The ones who said their employer wanted me alive to study the pups. Isla moves closer. Was it you? Vivian's composure cracks further. I don't know what you're... Don't lie. Darius's voice cuts through the hall. Cold, commanding. We captured one of them. He talked, extensively. The color drains from Vivian's face. It was you, Isla breathes. You tried to have me killed. I tried to eliminate a problem. Vivian's voice rises. You were supposed to be gone. Dead or disappeared, it didn't matter. But you had to send that message, had to let him know, had to ruin everything. Ruin? Isla's laugh is sharp, brittle. I ruined your political marriage, good. You don't understand what you cost me, what you cost this kingdom. Vivian turns on Darius. I gave you a choice. Marry me. Keep your Omega mistress quiet and comfortable somewhere. Everyone wins, but you couldn't even do that. Because she's not my mistress. Darius's voice is deadly calm. She's my mate, my fated bond, and you tried to murder the mother of my children. Vivian's face contorts, rage, heartbreak, desperate calculation all at once. She doesn't deserve you. She's just an Omega. Nothing special. Nothing. She survived a rejection that should have killed her. Darius interrupts. She carried 3 lives through circumstances that would have broken anyone else. She fought a full-grown alpha while pregnant to protect our children. She is everything. And you... His voice drops to something dangerous. You are nothing. The words hang in the air. Final. Devastating. Vivian's mask shatters completely. Tears stream down her perfect face. But there's something harder beneath them. Something cold and calculating. You'll regret this. Both of you. Those triplets, they'll tear this kingdom apart. 3 heirs. 3 claims. The same mistake that caused civil war 200 years ago. You're not saving anything. You're destroying it all. Guards move forward. Take her arms. She doesn't resist. Just looks at Isla with something between hatred and pity. Good luck, Omega. You'll need it. They lead her away. The throne hall empties slowly. until it's just Isla and Darius in the space that witnessed her destruction. I need to sit down, Isla says quietly. Darius guides her to the throne. His throne. She starts to protest Omegas don't sit on the Alpha King's throne, but he's already helping her down, kneeling before her like she's the one with power. Thank you for standing up to her, for a sharp pain lances through Isla's stomach, stronger than before. Different. She gasps, doubles over. Isla, what's wrong? Another pain, sharper, lower, and then warmth, wetness spreading between her legs. Dr. Bryn appears as if summoned, takes one look and her face goes pale. Her water broke. She's in labor. The words don't make sense at first. Labor. But she's only 36 weeks. It's too early. They need more time. No. Isla's voice shakes. No, it's too soon. They're not ready. I'm not. Isla, look at me. Darius cups her face in his hands. You can do this. You're the strongest person I know. They'll die. It's too early. They won't. We have the best healers, the best care. And you, his voice cracks. You've kept them alive this long. A few more hours, that's all. Just a few more hours and they'll be here and they'll be perfect. Another contraction rips through her. Isla screams, grabs Darius's hand hard enough to bruise. The bond between them flares white hot, sharing her pain, sharing her terror. Medical wing, Dr. Bryn orders. Now. They carry her through corridors that blur together, into a room that smells like herbs and clean linen and antiseptic. Healers swarm. Dr. Bryn takes command. Darius refuses to leave. Get out, Isla gasps between contractions. No. You don't get to be here. You don't get to. I wasn't there before. His voice is wrecked, raw. I wasn't there when you needed me. I'm here now. And you can hate me for it, but I'm not leaving. Another contraction, stronger. The pain whites out everything else. She screams, curses, begs for it to stop. And through it all, Darius holds her hand, takes the abuse she hurls at him, stays. Hours blur together, pain, pressure, terror that these 3 lives will slip away before she ever meets them. Dr. Bryn's voice cutting through the wound, telling her to push, to breathe, to hold on just a little longer. Then something shifts. The bond between her and Darius suddenly slams into place. Complete, whole, unbreakable. She feels everything he feels. He feels everything she feels. The pain multiplies and divides simultaneously. Dr. Bryn gasps. The bond, it's healing. But Isla can't focus on that. Because the first pup is crowning and every nerve in her body is on fire, and she's pushing with everything she has left. A wail pierces the air, tiny, furious, alive. It's a girl, Dr. Bryn says, small but breathing. They place her on Isla's chest for just a moment. Tiny, perfect, eyes squeezed shut, and Isla falls in love so completely it steals her breath. Aria, she whispers. Her name is Aria. But there's no time to rest. The second pup is coming. Faster, stronger. Another push and a boy, healthy lungs. Darius is crying openly now, holding Isla's hand like it's the only thing keeping him tethered to earth. Connor, he says. Can we name him Connor? Isla nods, can't speak. Because the third is coming and this one feels different. Wrong. Bryn's face shifts from relief to concern. The cord. It's wrapped. Isla, I need you to stop pushing. I can't. You have to, just for a moment. Let me. The room holds its breath. Dr. Bryn works with swift precision, unwinding, adjusting. Finally now, push now. Isla pushes with everything left. Feels something tear. Feels the bond with Darius pulse with shared agony. And then a wail, weaker than the others. But there. Another girl, Dr. Bryn's voice catches. She's perfect. They clean her, check her, place her with her siblings in Isla's arms. 3 tiny lives, 3 miracles, 3 reasons everything was worth it. Celine, Isla breathes, for the moon, because she came late at night. Darius kneels beside the bed. His hand covers all 3 babies gently, reverently. His face is wet with tears and wonder and desperate love. Thank you, he whispers. Thank you for keeping them safe. Thank you for being strong enough for all of us. Isla looks at him. This man who broke her. This man who's trying to piece them back together and feels the bond humming between them. Not healed, not forgiven, but whole again somehow. Connected in ways that can't be severed. Don't thank me yet, she says tiredly. You have 18 years of proving yourself ahead of you. I know, I'm ready. She wants to believe him, wants to trust that this time will be different. But trust is earned through actions, not words. And she's done giving her heart away to promises. For now, she has 3 lives to protect, 3 futures to secure, 3 reasons to be stronger than she's ever thought possible. And as she drifts towards sleep with her children against her chest and Darius keeping watch, Isla lets herself feel something she hasn't felt in 10 months. Hope. Fragile. Terrifying. But there. 3 weeks pass in the blur of feedings and diaper changes and exhaustion so complete that Isla sometimes forgets what day it is. The medical wing becomes her entire world. White walls. Soft lighting. The constant hum of monitoring equipment tracking 3 tiny heartbeats. Aria, Connor, and Celine spend their first weeks in incubators. Too small, too early, fighting for every breath. Isla sits between them for hours, hands pressed against the warm glass, willing her strength into their fragile bodies. Darius is there every day, every night, learning to hold them with hands that once commanded armies but now shake when lifting a 4-pound infant. Learning to change diapers and warm bottles and make the soft sounds that calm crying babies. Isla watches him, studies him, looking for cracks in the facade, for signs that this devotion is temporary, that the moment politics calls, he'll abandon them again. But he stays. 3 a.m. feeding. Isla wakes to find Darius already in the nursery, Connor cradled against his chest, bottle held at the perfect angle. He's talking softly, telling his son about the constellations visible through the window, about the history of their bloodline, about the kingdom he'll one day help lead. You're supposed to be sleeping, Isla says from the doorway. Darius doesn't startle, just looks up with tired eyes. So are you. Aria was fussing. I thought. She stops, because Aria is sleeping peacefully in her incubator, monitored and safe. You already fed her, 20 minutes ago. She wanted to be held after. Fell asleep on my shoulder. His voice carries wonder and exhaustion in equal measure. I didn't want to put her down. Isla moves to Celine's incubator, the smallest of the 3, the fighter. She's gained weight steadily but still trails her siblings. Isla's hand presses against the glass, and Celine's tiny fingers curl as if reaching for her mother's touch. Dr. Bryn says they might be ready to leave the incubators by the end of the week, Darius continues, if they keep gaining weight, if their temperatures stabilize. And then what? Then we figure out how to keep 3 infants alive simultaneously. He smiles slightly. I'm told it's harder than commanding armies. Much harder. Armies don't need to be fed every 2 hours. Connor finishes his bottle. Darius lifts him to his shoulder, rubbing his back with practiced gentleness until a small burp emerges. The casual competence surprises Isla. This isn't performative. This is real care given freely. Why are you here? The question escapes before she can stop it. It's 3 in the morning. You could have nurses do this. You're the AlphaKing. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Darius meets her eyes. I have 10 months to make up for. Every feeding I missed, every kick I didn't feel, every moment you were terrified and alone. I can't fix the past, but I can be here now for every moment until you believe I'm not going anywhere. The words settle into the quiet space between them. Not enough to erase history, but enough to start building something new. Isla, there's something we need to discuss. Darius's voice shifts, more formal. Elder Corvin called another council session. They want to convene tomorrow. Her stomach tightens. About what? About the triplets, about succession, about... He stops, starts again. About making everything official. Legal. Unbreakable. They want to verify them. Isla's voice goes flat. DNA tests. Blood bonds. Proof that they're really yours and not some Omega scheme. They already did the blood bond test. The results were undeniable. But yes, they want formal proceedings. public acknowledgement, and he hesitates. They want to discuss Luna ceremonies. The words hit like cold water. Luna, the title Darius once gave to Vivian, the position Isla was deemed unsuitable for, the crown that comes with expectations and scrutiny and constant judgment. I'm not ready for that. I know, but the triplets need legal protection. The only way to ensure that completely is for me to become Luna, to stand in front of everyone who watched you reject me and accept a crown from your hands. Adla's laugh is bitter. How convenient. It's not about convenience, it's about making sure no one can ever question their legitimacy. No one can ever use their Omega mother against them. The truth of it stings, because he's right. In wolf politics, perception matters. And 3 heirs born to a rejected mate are vulnerable in ways that 3 heirs born to a crowned Luna are not. I need time to think. Take all the time you need, but Isla Bethlehem. Darius shifts Connor to his other shoulder. Whatever you decide, they're protected. You're protected. That's not negotiable. The next morning brings visitors. Margot and Opal arrive from Harbor's End bringing herbs and practical supplies, and the kind of maternal presence that makes Isla's throat tight. They coo over the babies with genuine affection, offering advice gleaned from decades of experience. They're beautiful, Margot says softly, watching Arya sleep. Strong, like their mother. They're so small. What if... Stop borrowing trouble, Secretary. Opal's voice is firm. They're fighters, all 3. They'll survive and thrive. You just watch. Ember Lockwood appears in the afternoon carrying packages wrapped in cloth, inside protective charms woven from silver and moonstone. She places one in each incubator with careful reverence. For the storm touched, she says, nodding toward Arya. She'll need these when her gifts start manifesting. Isla's stomach drops. What gifts? You haven't noticed. Ember's gray eyes are knowing. Watch her when she cries. Really watch. That night, Arya wakes fussing. Isla lifts her from the incubator, and as the baby's cries escalate, tiny sparks dance between her fingers. Blue-white, crackling, gone as quickly as they appeared. Oh gods, Isla breathes. Darius appears at her shoulder. I've been seeing it for days. Didn't want to say anything until you noticed. She's 3 weeks old. Powers don't manifest until they do. Ember's voice comes from the doorway. Storm-touched alphas are different. Their gifts wake early. She'll need training, guidance, protection from those who'd exploit her abilities. The weight of it settles over Isla like a cloak. Not just 3 children to raise. 3 children with alpha potential, and one with rare gifts that make her a target for every power-hungry wolf in the territory. We can handle it, Darius says quietly. Together. Together. The word still feels foreign, fragile, but maybe less impossible than it did 3 weeks ago. The council convenes in the throne hall at midday. Isla enters, carrying Arya with nurses bearing Connor and Celine behind her. Every eye tracks her movement. The whispers start immediately. She hears fragments. Carrying 3 rejected and yet Omega with alpha heirs. She keeps her spine straight, her chin high. Let them whisper. Let them judge. She survived worse than their gossip. Elder Corvin stands at the center of the hall, flanked by 5 territorial alphas. Cade Reaver among them, the wolf whose mercenaries attacked her. His presence makes her wolf snarl, but his expression is carefully neutral. Miss Brennan, thank you for attending. Elder Corvin's voice is formal. We've convened to discuss matters of succession and legitimacy. My children are legitimate. Isla's voice carries through the hall, clear, strong. The blood bond test proved it. What more do you need? Assurances. This comes from one of the other alphas, a man named Thorn with calculating eyes. 3 heirs create succession complications. The last time triplets were born to an AlphaKing. Civil war, I know. Isla cuts him off. I've heard the stories, but those triplets were raised to compete, to see each other as threats. My children will be raised differently. How can you guarantee that? Because I'm their mother, and I will teach them that strength comes from unity, not division. That 3 minds working together are stronger than 3 working against each other. The hall is silent. Alphas exchange glances, calculating, measuring. trying to determine if this Omega really has the spine to back up her words. Bold claims from someone who was deemed unsuitable as Luna. Thorne's voice drips with disdain. The words hit their mark. Isla feels the old wound tear open, but she doesn't flinch, doesn't look away. I was deemed unsuitable by a king who chose politics over his mate, who thought duty could replace love, who was wrong. She turns slightly, meeting Darius's eyes across the hall. He knows it, I know it, and now you all know it. The Omega speaks with fire. Cade Reaver's voice is surprisingly respectful. I like it. These pups need a mother with spine. They need more than spine. Isla shifts Arya in her arms, and the baby makes a soft sound. They need legal protection, clear succession rules, a framework that prevents the very civil war you are all afraid of. What do you propose? Elder Corvin asks. Triad rule. The voice comes from behind her. Darius stepping forward. 3 heirs ruling jointly. Major decisions require unanimous agreement. If one dies, the other 2 rule together. It prevents competition, ensures cooperation, makes them stronger united. That's never been done, Thorne protests. Neither has an Omega surviving rejection while carrying storm-touched triplets. Ember's voice carries from the gallery. Maybe it's time for new precedents. The Alphas confer quietly. Arguments rise and fall. Finally, Elder Corvin speaks. The Council will consider Triad rule, but it requires conditions. Name them, Darius says. First, the triplets must be formally presented, acknowledged before all territories as legitimate heirs to Frost Peak. Agreed. Second, succession law must be codified, written into unbreakable covenant. Done. Third, Elder Corvin's eyes move to Isla. The mother must be crowned Luna, officially, publicly. No ceremony can be delayed or avoided. The hall holds its breath, every eye on Isla, waiting for her response. She looks at the 3 alphas she carried through impossible circumstances. At Arya with her tiny sparks. At Connor with his steady gaze. At Celine with her fighter spirit. They didn't ask to be born into politics. They didn't ask for parents who broke each other. But they deserve protection. They deserve legitimacy. They deserve a mother strong enough to claim what's theirs. I have one condition, Isla says. Speak it. Elder Corvin responds. Omega protection laws. So no other woman is ever called unsuitable because of her designation. So no other mate is rejected for political convenience. You want me as Luna, fine. But I serve my children first. And I serve every Omega who's been dismissed second. The kingdom comes third. The audacity of it ripples through the hall. Demanding legal reform as the price of her crown, but Isla stands firm, because if she's going to wear the title, it won't be ornamental. It will mean something. Elder Corvin's mouth twitches almost a smile. The council will draft appropriate legislation. Not draft, enact, before the ceremony. You're in no position to make demands. I'm the mother of 3 heirs. I'm very much in a position to make demands. Isla's voice doesn't waver. Enact the laws, then we'll discuss ceremonies. Silence. Calculations happening behind multiple sets of eyes. Finally, Elder Corvin nods. Agreed. The ceremony will be held 1 week from today. Omega protection legislation will be finalized before then. The hall erupts into conversation. Alphas arguing, advisors scrambling. Isla turns and walks out with her head high and her children safe in her arms. Darius catches up to her in the corridor. That was necessary. If I'm going to do this, I'm doing it right. No half measures, no compromises that matter. You were incredible in there. I was terrified. I know, that's what made it incredible. Isla looks at him, really looks, sees the pride in his eyes, the awe, the desperate love he's trying to earn the right to express. Don't make me regret this. I won't. I swear on their lives I won't. The week passes in a blur of preparation. Seamstresses arrive with fabrics in silver and blue. Margot and Opal help with the dress, something that accommodates a body still recovering from triplet birth, but makes Isla look like a queen rather than a patient. The babies grow stronger daily. By week's end, they're out of incubators, sleeping in cribs, feeding on more regular schedules, becoming real in ways that take Isla's breath away. She names them formally in a private ceremony. Arya Thornwell Brennan, Connor Thornwell Brennan, Celine Thornwell Brennan, their names written into the official records, their existence undeniable. The night before the ceremony, Isla can't sleep. She stands in the nursery watching them breathe. Three tiny chests rising and falling in synchronized rhythm. Three miracles she almost lost. Three reasons everything was worth surviving. Having second thoughts, Darius's voice comes from the doorway. 100 thoughts, maybe 1,000th. He moves to stand beside her. Not touching, just present. You don't have to do this. If it's too much, it's not about what I want. It's about what they need. Isla's hand rests on Connor's crib. They deserve a mother who isn't afraid, who claims her place without apology. Even if I have to fake it until I believe it. You're not faking anything. You're the strongest person I know. Stop saying that. It's true. Isla turns to face him. This man who destroyed her. This man who spent 3 weeks proving himself, one feeding, one diaper change, one sleepless night at a time. Why didn't you kiss me? The question catches him off guard. What? 3 weeks? You've been here constantly, but you haven't tried to kiss me, haven't tried to... She stops, swallows. Why? Oh, Darius's expression is soft, sad. Because you're not ready. Because I don't get to demand affection I haven't earned. Because, his voice drops. Because when I kiss you again, I want it to be because you want me to. Not because you think you owe me. Not because of the binder or the babies or politics. Because you choose it. The honesty hits harder than seduction ever could. What if I'm never ready? Then I'll spend the rest of my life earning the chance. And if I die without earning it, at least I'll die knowing I tried. Isla studies his face, the lines of exhaustion, the shadows under his eyes, the desperate sincerity. I'm still angry at you. I know. I don't trust you yet. I know. But her voice catches. I don't hate you anymore. And that terrifies me. Why? Because not hating you means I might forgive you. And forgiving you means risking getting hurt again. And I can't, tears spill over. I can't survive you breaking me twice. Darius's hands come up slowly, carefully, cradling her face with touch so gentle it makes her ache. Then I won't break you. Not again. Not ever. I will spend every day proving I've learned, that I'm worthy, that choosing you was the only choice that ever mattered. Pretty words. I have 18 years to back them up with actions. Isla closes her eyes, leans into his touch just slightly. The bond hums between them. Healing but still scarred, connected but still careful. Tomorrow I become Luna, for them. Tomorrow you become what you already are, a queen. The ceremony takes place at noon, when sunlight streams through stained glass windows and turns the throne hall into something almost magical. Every pack representative is present, every territorial alpha. Witnesses to ensure this moment can never be undone. Isla enters alone, walking the same path she fled 10 months ago. But this time her head is high, her shoulders back, her children waiting at the end in the arms of trusted nurses. Darius stands at the throne, not sitting, not claiming superiority, waiting for her as an equal. The hall is silent except for her footsteps, every eye tracking her movement. She sees their calculations, their judgments. They're surprised that the broken Omega became a mother, a survivor, a force they underestimated. She reaches the dais, turns to face the assembly. Elder Corbin steps forward carrying a circlet of silver and moonstone, the Luna crown, symbol of power and position, and all the things she was told she could never have. But before he can speak, Isla raises her hand. Before this proceeds, I have words for this court. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Darius's eyes widen slightly. This wasn't planned. But he nods, giving her the floor. 10 months ago, I stood in this hall and had my heart carved out in public. I was called unsuitable, dismissed, destroyed in front of everyone who now stands here, judging whether I deserve this crown. The hall is dead silent now. I didn't think I'd survive that day. I ran into the forest with blood on my feet and shame in my chest and a bond that was supposed to kill me. But I survived. I survived because I had to, because giving up wasn't an option. Her eyes move across the assembly, landing on faces she remembers, faces that watched her humiliation and did nothing. I carried 3 lives through circumstances that should have killed us all. I beat mercenaries while pregnant. I delivered premature triplets and kept them alive through force of will and the help of women who didn't owe me anything, but gave me everything. Margot and Opal stand in the gallery. Isla nods to them. So when you ask if I deserve this crown, understand something. I'm not asking for it. I'm claiming it. Not because Darius Thornwell offers it, not because tradition demands it, but because my children deserve a mother who is strong, who refuses to be dismissed, who teaches them that their Omega mother is their greatest advantage, not their weakness. She turns to Elder Corvin, holds out her hand. I don't accept this crown from the AlphaKing. I claim it for my children, for every Omega who was told they weren't enough, for every woman who survived what should have destroyed her. I claim it as mine. The audacity steals breath from the room, but Elder Corvin's eyes gleam with approval. He places the crown in her outstretched hand. Isla lifts it, sets it on her own head. The symbolism is unmistakable. She crowned herself, claimed power rather than accepting it, transformed a ceremony of submission into a declaration of sovereignty. The bond between her and Darius flares brilliant gold, visible to everyone. Fated mates fully bonded, the rejection undone, the connection restored. Darius steps forward, takes her hand. Osfi Darius Thornwell, AlphaKing of Frost Peak, formally recognize Ela Brennan Thornwell as my Luna, as my mate, as the mother of my heirs, as my equal in all things. The words carry through the hall, formal, binding, unbreakable. Arya Connor and Celine Thornwell Brennan are hereby acknowledged as legitimate heirs to Frost Peak, protected by law, secured in succession. Any who threaten them answers to me. The nurses bring the babies forward. Isla takes Arya, Darius takes Connor and Celine. Together they present them to the assembly. 3 tiny lives who change everything. 3 futures waiting to be written. 3 heirs who will either save the kingdom or tear it apart. The hall erupts in applause. Not all of it genuine, but enough. Enough to know this moment will be remembered. That the rejected Omega became something they never anticipated. As the ceremony concludes and people begin filtering out, Isla stands holding Arya while her daughter makes tiny sparks dance between her fingers, looking down at this miracle, this impossible gift. You did it. Darius's voice is soft, amazed. We did it, all 5 of us. What happens now? Isla looks at him. This man she's learning to trust again. This father learning to be present. This king who finally chose right. Now we figure out how to be a family, how to raise 3 alphas who don't destroy each other, how to... She stops, smiles slightly. How to survive on 2 hours of sleep and perpetual exhaustion. I'm told that's what parenthood is. Then we're doing it right. They stand together in the emptying throne hall. Luna and AlphaKing, mates rebuilding what was broken, parents protecting what they created. It's not forgiveness yet, not completely, but it's something, a foundation, a possibility, a choice made every day to try. Outside snow begins to fall, first of the season, covering the kingdom in white, fresh, clean, new. Inside, 3 babies sleep peacefully, unaware that they carry the future on tiny shoulders, that their existence rewrote laws and challenged traditions, and proved that some bonds are too strong to break. They can only bleed until they heal. Isla looks at Arya, at Connor, at Celine, her miracles, her reasons for everything. I love you, she whispers, to them, to the life they represent, to the future they'll build. And maybe, just maybe, the words extend a little bit to the man standing beside her, the one who broke her, the one who's learning to piece them back together. Not yet, not fully, but someday, because some bonds break, some bonds bleed, but the strongest bonds are chosen every single day, through actions, not words, through presence, not promises, through love earned rather than love demanded. And in the quiet of falling snow and sleeping babies and healing hearts, Isla finally lets herself believe. They'll survive this, all of them, together.